Well, hello and welcome to How to Teach Your Parrot to Talk in 30 Days or Less. We're super excited about coming with you, creating this video, and teaching you a whole bunch of stuff that we've learned about how to teach these awesome parrots how to talk and delivering it to you in some content that you have, quite frankly, never seen before. And we actually have some stuff to release to you that the market is not selling and is going to dramatically increase how quickly you can start to teach your birds to talk. Now, before I dive into everything that we're going to cover here, I want to let you know a few things of what's going to be going on and some of the benefits of teaching your parrot to talk. In my opinion, talking is one of the best ways to get rid of one of the negative behaviors that I hate the most out of anything in the world, and that is screaming. So if your parrot screams, what this is going to be able to teach you how to do, this video series is going to teach you how to get your parrot to start using words to get you to try to get your attention instead of just screaming his head off, hoping you can come in the room. And you can start to teach him to say hello for you. You can teach him to call you by name. You teach him to say whatever you want him to start getting, just teaching your bird a whole new level of communication. The second thing this is going to do is we're going to go in and teach you how to get your bird. Let's say you own an African gray, okay, or an Amazon, and this bird that you maybe have says 300, 400, 500 words, over 1,000 words. I don't know, but they talk a whole lot, and they just will say stuff at complete random. And what we're going to teach you how to do is we're going to teach you how to take all those words and put them into context. We're going to teach you how to get them to say them when they mean something, so that when he says I love you, it's when you ask him, you know, hey, do you like me? Then he'll respond with I love you. Or when you leave the room, he'll say bye-bye, and when you come into the room, he'll say hello and not vice versa, and just start to get the communication to make sense. And then last of all, it's just a super entertaining thing that we think that you're just going to get a whole lot of enjoyment out of. Your friends and your family are going to get some enjoyment out of. And let's face it, it's one of the main reasons parrots are such a big seller in at least the United States, and I'm sure all over the world. It's because of their ability to talk. So let's jump into and let's explore how to get these amazing creatures, these amazing animals, to really develop their ability to speak. That's a good boy, Tico. Here we have Tico, and here we have George, some of our two best talking parrots. And I want to talk to you first about how we got these guys to be our best talking parrots. Now, the thing that got them there is that we put these birds on a training diet. And I'm not going to spend the 20 or 30 minutes that it needs to teach you how to get your bird on a training diet. But if you're going to do it, and you're going to need to, I want you to go to our main website, which is birdtricks.com. And on that site, we have a form. And on that form, I want you to sign up for it. It's an email form on the website, or it's on a pop-up. And the first lesson that we'll automatically send you pertains to a training diet. It teaches you how to set up your bird on a feeding schedule where he has breakfast and dinner, and in between he has a break where he gets hungry. It's very natural. It's a very safe way to do it. Please follow the email instructions very carefully, and please overview the training diet with your vet to make sure that they agree. There's a whole lot of outlines in there that are designed to keep your bird safe. Also, please do not do this training diet with a bird who is still being hand-fed or still being weaned onto some food, making sure that you just give your birds enough food. They never want to be losing any body weight, and if it's a baby bird, he should be gaining body weight. So just be in coordination with your vet here. But what the whole goal of this is to get your bird slightly hungry so that we can start to motivate him with food for saying certain words. And so just make sure that you go over there to the website, sign up for those things, and so you can get those lessons. Now, the second thing I want to do is I want to give you a website at the bottom of your screen. I want you to go to birdtricks.com/free.htm. Okay, now on that website, there's going to be something else that's very important. You may have already seen it if you've been on our email list or you're a subscriber, but it's a trick. It's a trick training video. It teaches you how to teach your parrot how to wave. Now, why am I talking about teaching a trick? Because what we're about to reveal to you with teaching your parrot how to talk relies a lot on your parrot being what's called clicker trained or clicker conditioned, which means that he is used to using the clicker as a bridge. a bridge that teaches him that he's done something correctly, and as a way that you can continue to reinforce that. And I'm going to get into why a clicker is important here in just a little bit, but just know that it's very important, and that you should, before you start any speech training, you should need to go out and get your bird clicker conditioned by using a clicker to train something like the wave, just so he knows a little bit. Love you too, sweetie. Want to wave hello to the camera? Good boy. What I just wanted to show you that real quick for is that you heard that little click that came over on the audio. And what that is this clicker. And I just wanted to explain this to you. It's just this little plastic box, and inside it has a piece of spring steel that when you press down on it, makes a clicking sound. I have trained this bird that every time he hears that clicking sound, and since I just did it, he has to get a treat, he gets a treat. It's 100% of the time. And so he now knows, because I've taught him a few tricks with this clicker, every time he depresses, he hears the click, he's earned something. And what happens here is when you train a bunch of tricks, the first one's kind of hard to train, and the second one gets a little bit easier, and the third one gets even easier. And by this time, I can train Tico almost any trick within a day. And so when the bird gets to that point, and the further along you get in the trick training process, the easier speech training is going to become for you, because the more conditioned he will be to using the clicker. They build up very much a momentum in the training process. So go ahead, go check out the tricks, buy our other courses, go find tricks on the internet, buy some books at Barnes & Noble or pet stores on how to teach some tricks, and make sure that your bird is conditioned to this thing, so that every time he performs a trick, he got a little spooked there. Every time he performs a trick, want to wave hello? No, that's the wrong one. Wave hello, sweetie. Wave hello. Wave hello. Every time he performs a trick, he gets the click and he gets rewarded. Now we're going to teach you how to turn that into the actual speech, so that every time he gets the word a little bit better, he gets a click and he gets rewarded, and they start learning words like you can't even imagine. The last piece of information that I want to share with you about this clicker and why it's so important is that it will help you teach your bird and catch your bird saying words at random. You know, maybe while he's just having some fun, it's the right time of day, it's in the afternoon, little sun's coming through the windows, and he starts talking a little bit. This clicker gives you ability so that if you're way across the room or in a completely different room, if you maybe buy one of these that's got a little clip on it or something like that, wear it on your hip, you can click it the second you hear your bird say a word that you want him to eventually say. And if he's been properly trained through tricks to know what the clicker means, and throughout the daily process maybe it's only once or twice a day, but over the course of a week or two, if you click and then go over to his cage and give him a reward that he really likes, every single time you hear him say a word, he's going to start saying that word more and more and more and more, because he knows he's earning clicks and he's earning treats when he says it. And that's how you can start these whole words from forming. So now we're going to move on to showing you as many ways as possible to teach birds who don't know anything as far as any speech, how to get them talking for the first time and start rewarding those behaviors. Okay, what I want you to pay attention to here is I want you to look at the yellow in George's eyes, okay? One of the keys to getting your bird to talk is by looking at the pupils in their eyes, that yellow. If you have a cockatoo, it's harder to see, but they still do it if you get them in the right kind of light. The eyes will contract and then reopen, and it's called pinning. Now, if you have an Amazon, you can see it really easy, and George is another bird. And so what happens when the bird starts pinning his eyes is he's more receptive to words. So if I can get him excited, I'll show you what's going on. Ready, George? Is that a good boy? Hey, George, what you doing, buddy? Is that a good boy? Is that a good boy? That's right. That's right. And you can see his body language kind of gets excited. He starts dancing around. He starts moving, he starts shaking his head, he lowers his wings if you can see it, and he just gets more emotionally ready. And right now would be the perfect time to introduce a new word to him. Hey, George! Good Good boy, Georgie. So I just wanted to show you that as an example of how to check out your bird to know that if his eyes are pinning, and that's how you know if the bird's receptive to a word. If you're trying to say a word to your bird and his eyes aren't pinning, he's not receptive right then to that word. You need to be cognitive of a few different things. The certain time of day, refer to our ebook for this type of stuff, but there's certain times in the afternoon when your bird will tend to be more vocal and his eyes will tend to pin a little bit more. Those times are times where you can catch your bird and start to teach him words. Catching your bird and teaching your bird words when he is most enthusiastic is very important, and this whole eye pinning process is one of the best ways to find out within literally 30 seconds if he's going to be receptive to a word. Because you can watch, as I say here, George is an older bird, and so you have to be really, he's 15 or 20 years old, I'm not exactly sure. We've had him since we were just running around in our diapers, but if you watch here as I say a certain word, he won't pin his eyes. Like, I don't know, if I was going to say, you ready, Georgie? Let's see if we can get a shot here. I'm going to see if you're going to like a word. Step up. Good boy. Cool. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, George. I don't know if you can see this, but his eyes aren't pinning, and he only pins his eyes on certain words and when he gets excited. And so right now, I can tell you right now, George would not say Merry Christmas as far as me teaching him that way. You're going to want to try to do other things. You're going to want to try to teach your bird to say words by having your wife or having different type of people with different inflection in their voice training these behaviors. So, hi, George. Is it a good boy? Pretty bird. Pretty bird, Georgie. The higher your voice tone, play along with it. Play with higher voice tones, play with lower voice tones to try to say the word in different ways so that your bird starts to pin his eyes. And when he starts to pin his eyes, you know, bam, that's the inflection that I need to use, and that's the word I need to use to start training him. And then we'll get into how to go further with that. What we're going to do now is Tico likes to say hello when the telephone rings, and we're just going to try to get you to see an example of how this blue and gold macaw, his eyes will pin. And you have to watch very closely. It happens really fast. It's not like George was where you'll hold it. This happens where it's almost instant. So we're going to try to see if the phone will ring and you can hear this. That was a perfect example. You saw exactly what his eyes did. Now, that's another example too. We've trained this bird to say hello when the telephone rings. I'm sure yours might do it as well. A lot of birds do that, but this is just another example of watching this bird's eyes pin, and you can see that he is interested in that word, and it's one of the words he knows very well. And so it's just a really good, really easy way to find out within seconds if you even have a remote shot of your bird liking that word. Play around with the tone, play around with the voice inflection, playing around just trying to find words that your bird will want to learn instead of wasting your time teaching him words that you know he's never going to learn because his eyes aren't pinning. We're going to slow this down for you so you can get another look at how that happens in slow motion. Just watch those eyes and how they pin. This is what you should be looking for in your bird.